Hello, my name is Melissa Daniels, and this is Strabismus to Stereopsis. On this channel, we talk all about life with strabismus, which is when your eyes aren't pointing straight or aren't working together. And this can come with so many different challenges and can be such a difficult part of life. And today we are going to talk a little bit more about the emotional side of having strabismus and how I've personally gotten through this journey, and I feel like I've come out better on the other end. If you want resources that I have, just head over to learn.strabismussolutions.com. You can schedule a Zoom call, take one of the courses, or take the free quiz. It's going to help you get a little bit more direction in your own journey. But for today, we're talking about gratitude. Strabismus can be so challenging. I get to talk to lots of you, and a lot of us experience many of the same struggles. A lot of that comes from eyes that just aren't pointing straight. So this can be so difficult in conversations, when you're getting pictures taken, when you are in an interview or on a Zoom call and you've got this eye turn, and it's frustrating. It's confusing to people. It can be embarrassing, right? So like that whole having your eyes not point straight can be really challenging. And then along with that is it creates some functional challenges like driving and sports and reading, and maybe you have double vision or you can't read well because the words are jumbled on the page, right? There's like the functional and the emotional part, and it can be so challenging. And I know that when you are in the middle of it, it can just feel, you can start to feel kind of hopeless, and it can be depressing, and it is something that can be very heavy on your soul. Now, I haven't completely fixed my strabismus, but I'm to the point now where my eyes are mostly straight. They mostly work together, and I'm on the other side, and I'm able to look back on my 39 years of life and reflect on the entire journey. And it's a lot easier from my vantage point to see how this has been good in my life, that this has been a positive, even though it looks like a negative. And I want to share that with you guys. I want to share some of those reasons why I feel like this was one of the best parts of my life, even though it felt like the worst part of my life. And maybe this can help you as you're going through the journey to help see that silver lining, to help keep you going through your journey. I know that, I've had 4 strabismus surgeries, and if that first surgery when I was 6 months old had been successful, that my eyes had stayed straight, that they'd spontaneously developed stereopsis, and I never had to think about my vision again, a lot of people would think, oh yeah, that would have been better. It would have been better if that had worked. But I don't think so. I actually think my life is better because it didn't work, and the next surgery didn't work, and the next surgery didn't work. And when I was 15 and went to a vision therapy office, me and my mom decided it was woo-woo, and we never went back. I'm so grateful for that. Because of all of that, I am where I am right now. And it's so much better than what I could have planned otherwise. So, I'm going to share a scripture from Thessalonians. It says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Jesus Christ concerning you." And I don't normally get religious, but I think this is such a powerful scripture. In everything give thanks. It doesn't say for everything. It doesn't mean that you're thankful for strabismus, even though I think that can be powerful too. But in that moment, in the strabismus journey, when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the weeds, and when you can find gratitude, that is what is going to help you. That when it says this is the will of God, that's because he wants you to be happy. And he knows that if you are in the weeds and you're in the thick of really hard times, and if you can find gratitude, that is going to create more joy and happiness in your life. So that being said, I'm going to give you guys some examples of why I am grateful for strabismus. And maybe some of these will resonate for you, and maybe they won't. And you can tell me all about it in the comments if you don't like this video, but I love you still, and that's okay. So first and foremost, it has made me very empathetic. When I see somebody struggling, when I see somebody who has something, maybe a deformity or, missing arm or a birthmark or whatever, like something that's just not normal, right? I have so much empathy for that person. If they do or say something a little socially awkward, I can be like, they just don't know how to handle the situation. It's totally fine. And I don't like get wrapped up in those details, right? I can just be like, oh, I love them. And I get it. It's so hard. It's so hard to know how to handle some of these social situations when we've got something that's not normal, right? So I feel like that has just helped me have so much more love for other people. And it's also done that for my children. I have 4 kids, ages 8 to 17, and they, they're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but when it comes, especially to people with eye turns, when they see somebody with an eye turn at school or somebody struggling, they've watched me struggle with that. They've watched me come home from helping them in classrooms and cry because the 5th graders, I'm 35 at the time, and the 5th graders made fun of my eye turn and I cry. And they're like, wow, right? Like they've seen that. They've seen me struggle through vision therapy. They've seen me struggle through surgery. They have watched that and what a process and how much work it took to get where I am now with my eyes. And they have so much more empathy as well for other kids. Like they'll come home and say, oh, I saw this kid with an eye turn and I told him about vision therapy and how it helped you. And that just filled my soul with so much love. So, when kids can see their parents working through a struggle, I think it makes them stronger and it makes them more empathetic. So I'm so grateful that they had that, because if I just had this perfect life, then maybe they'd be more bratty or spoiled or something. So thank goodness I have Strabismus to help teach my kids. You've, I'm sure, heard me talk about this before because this is a big one, but I feel like I'm really good at creative problem solving. And I think it's because I have strabismus. And this is maybe just a theory, but I think it's a really good theory because my brain did not develop normally. My vision didn't develop normally. All the neural pathways that were supposed to be there's like a blueprint, and my brain's like, no, that's not going to work. Something was broken. Who knows why we didn't follow the normal blueprint, but I didn't. And I had to make up my own blueprint. And I had to create my own neural pathways on how to see depth, how to get around in this world without using both eyes. And because of that, my brain isn't afraid to go off the beaten track, to go to take a different route. When I have an obstacle, it doesn't stop me, right? I can just be, oh, that's okay. I'll find a workaround. I call them workarounds, and talk a lot about this in the Confidence with Strabismus course. But it's just something that my brain is very comfortable with a workaround. That doesn't bother me at all. Like, okay, plan A didn't work. Let's go with plan B. And I completely believe that that's part of the wiring of my brain. While everyone else was getting wired for stereopsis, I was getting wired for problem solving, and super grateful for that. Like, hallelujah. Like, I wouldn't like math. I'm so good at it. And I think that's part of it. I think that's why. And it isn't that fun. Okay. So I'm grateful for strabismus because of that. This is another one I've talked about before, but I am so grateful that I couldn't see in 3D for the first 32 years of life. Okay. I was one-eyed. I only used one eye, except for probably a little bit in the periphery. I was using my weak eye, but was very, very limited. And because of that, when I went through vision therapy and had more surgery and I learned how to use both my eyes together and I gained this peripheral stereo and gross stereo, right? Like these things, and all of a sudden the world has depth, and I can look out my window right now and the clouds are just insane right now, which I just think is really distracting while I try to make this video. But the world is like glorious now, so much more than it was. And if I'd always been seen in 3D, it would have just been normal. I would have just been like all those other people who see with both eyes out there walking around in the world, thinking that the world is like, yeah, that's just what trees look like. That's just what clouds are. And I can say no. Like, it's incredible. It is beautiful. It is stunning. It gives me so much just like love for this world and God for creating it, right? Like that depth of appreciation for the way things look. I could have never experienced that if I'd gained it at age 6 months, right? Like, because that's just would have been my normal. But because my normal was seen with only 2 eyes or 1 eye, and then I started using both eyes, the world is amazing. And I am I'm so grateful for that. It makes me just so full of love. One thing that was always a really big struggle when I was in vision therapy was thinking back to that time when my mom took me to a vision therapy office, and my dad had found this office and my mom took me, and we decided it was too woo-woo and we never went back. And I always would think, why didn't I just go to vision therapy then? Why didn't I do that? It would have been so much easier and I wouldn't have had to pay for it because it would have been my parents, right? Like, I thought that a lot when I was in the vision therapy process. And now that I'm like through it all, I can see that it was such a better experience for me to have when I was an adult. Because one, I don't think I would have been as dedicated when I was young. It was easier, as an adult for me, but also while I was in that, I just felt so lonely when I was in vision therapy. And I just felt like no one in the world understands this. My doctor doesn't even really get what's going on. Like, I mean, he knew, but like didn't understand like what it feels like. And I just felt so alone. And because of that, I decided to start my website and start blogging about the journey. And the website then turned into an Instagram channel where I started talking about the journey. And then that turned into YouTube, right? And it just grew and grew and grew. And through that process, I have made amazing friends all over the world. I get to talk to people from like countries that I didn't even know existed before this. And just feeling that connection with people. I think some adults have hobbies that maybe are a little less niche, we'll say. Some people get into like video games or like crafting. And no, my hobby is strabismus, and I absolutely love the community of people with strabismus. You guys are my people, and I love meeting you. I love talking to you. I love hearing your stories. That connection means so much to me. And again, when I think of like the regrets, like, why didn't I do this earlier? I think, well, I would have missed out on this whole part that has given my life so much meaning. That I would have never had that meaning and those friendships if I just, that's for surgery just worked, no problem. Man, I'm so grateful for that. I could be teaching high school math, guys. Like, that's what I got my degree in. I could be hanging out with 30 teenagers every hour trying to get them to learn math. Like, oh, it's torture. And instead I get to have anyways, I love that I found my life's purpose. Like, this is what I feel like was my purpose. I was meant to help other people through their own journeys, and it has brought me so much joy. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I had strabismus and it's given me all of those things. All of us don't have the same experiences, right? Not everyone feels the need to create an entire website and whatever YouTube channel about strabismus. That was me. And that's what having strabismus kind of guided me towards. And it's going to be different for you. It's going to be different for every person. But ultimately, how is having strabismus and going through this journey of learning to use your eyes together, how is that shaping who you are? How was that surgery that didn't go the way you wanted it to? How was that a good thing? I think about my 4th surgery that I had as an adult, and I went from my eye going way out to my eye turning way in. And that was really hard for me. I thought, why? I felt like I was supposed to have this surgery. I felt that God wanted me to do that. And I was like, okay, like, this is the next step in my journey. And then it didn't really go very well. But through the process, I recognized, like, okay, I learned how to go from here, my eye going out. I learned how to pull it in. Once my eye was in, I've had to learn how to relax it out. And now I know, I understand both directions. And it's made my vision so much more well-rounded, right? Like, it's like, oh, that was actually better. That was actually has made it a more long-term result for me, because I really have so much more flexibility and understanding of how to use my visual system. It didn't feel that in the moment, right? But even when you're in that hard time and you're having a hard time finding gratitude, one phrase that I think about all the time, especially when things are difficult, is, what if this is all orchestrated in my favor? What if all these challenges, what if that idiotic surgeon. Mine's not, but I hear other people complain about their surgeons a lot. Mine is the greatest and I love them so much. But what if there was a reason you went to that surgeon? What if that is leading you to where you're supposed to go? What if you tried a vision therapy office and it just wasn't a good fit and you're like, oh, I wasted an entire year of my life? But maybe you needed that experience to know what the difference is when you find the right one, right? Like, there's so many things. And so if you can get your mind thinking, what if this is all orchestrated in my favor, and get your brain working on that, it is going to propel you towards solutions. It's going to propel you towards that positivity, towards that joy. And those are the things that are going to fuel your journey and help you have more success in the long run, right? So for Thanksgiving, or I guess not all of you celebrate Thanksgiving, my worldwide friends. I guess that's just a United States thing, but I think you know what it is. November, write down, can you make a list of reasons that you are grateful for Strabismus? I know it's hard, but it's something that is going to help literally change your brain, and it's possible because we believe in neuroplasticity, right? It's possible. Try to change your brain. Try to change the way you tell the story about strabismus in your life and its impact in your life. And when you change that story, it will change you. And I would love to hear in the comments, if you're willing to share how strabismus has been a positive in your life. And I know you might have to dig deep, but give it a try. And if you want more help with this, if you are struggling with the emotional part of the journey, definitely check out the Confidence with Strabismus course. I have a video like this, but also a lot of tools that can kind of help along the way. So good luck with that, and we will see you in the next video.